Kick off your boots and put down your hunting knife. It's time for the Outdoor Man Podcast with the man himself, Outdoor Man Dan. Join us for fun stories, useful how-tos, and insights into what being an outdoorsman means today and what it may mean in the future. From ethical hunting and conservation to new stories to tell around the fire. Let's get into today's show with your host, Outdoor Man Dan.
I said, "Oh, he's walking around like a pirate at the moment," and so we was having a laugh at your expense while I was walking around.
Absolutely. I think everyone is, mate. And obviously, like I can't because I can't fucking work. Probably so we're on night shift next week at the airport,
Right?
Queenstown Airport, ferreting. Can't work dogs during the day. They had an incident with one of the detection dogs a couple of years ago,
Right.
At Auckland Airport, and apparently this detection dog decided, "Nah, I'm just going to fuck around today," and fucked off and was gone for fucked around for 20 minutes or something, 25 minutes, and apparently it cost $1 million a minute to shut down the airport.
Ooh.
And after about 25 minutes, they just shot it, and it cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to train one of them. So weirdly enough, they're not allowed to work dogs on an active airport now.
Oh.
So so we're just so have to ferret at night, which is a bit of a challenge. The last time we did it was -4 every night, and but because we got the big rescue fire engines there with their light towers, the noise causes a lot of holdups, a lot of kills underground, and because we're in a big trench, I think a trench, it's 1,100 meters long and between 2 and 10 foot deep and about 20 meters wide. They were going to build a heavy duty taxiway and then stacked it up. And it's sandy ground, so it's just rabbit heaven.
No.
And and it was just a fucking nightmare. So we were getting lots of holdups and stuff at sometimes sort of 8 foot deep. I'm not fucking digging that. So there was at one point that we had to shove live traps into a couple of holes and then just fill in all the surrounding holes. And then I'll get a phone call about 2 hours later, one of the fireys going, "There's some faces in your traps." So I was so I can't do that this time, obviously, because of the ankle.
Yeah.
So a guy that worked for us, he's doing it with my missus, and I get to stay home with the kids. And anyway, the point of that story is one of those nights is Halloween. So guess who's going as a fucking pirate? So
You need to be going out doing that. You need to be going out doing that with your peg leg.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, so because I'm not already a laughing stock.
Yeah.
So good time.
Yeah.
But,
right. I need an intro of some description. This episode has been a long time coming. Actually, any episode has been a long time coming for Outdoor Man. I think it's been over a year since I last pushed anything out. Now Jim was someone who I did not discover on the Instagram. A friend of mine discovered, went, "You need to talk to him. I'm like, "Oh, here we go, some fucking idiot." And I'm not wrong. But Jim's a really interesting guy, doing some really cool stuff in New Zealand. So let's hear his story. So thanks for coming on, bud. I'll leave that bit in the beginning about the rabbits. So there'll be a little bit of an intro for you anyway, and your peg leg. But how? So start from the beginning. So because you're not from New Zealand, you got some sort of weird accent going on.
Oh yeah. I mean, keep it brief. Half Northern Irish, half Cornish. Some bastard mix. Dad was in the army. I was born in Germany and spent a lot of time there in Cyprus, and then moved to the UK properly when I was about 12, 13, down in Wiltshire. And Dad got posted there, and then so the folks are still down near Stonehenge on Salisbury Plain. I buggered off when I was 21 and went to Aussie and shit, and then became, of all things, a water sports instructor and worked in Greece and things. And then come over to New Zealand just for a year to race mountain bikes. Turns out my confidence was better than my competence, and I spent a lot of time injured or in hospital. And
we talk about the elephant in the room as well.
Yeah. Obviously, first time back on bike in a decade. So I've now got a broken ankle. So yeah, but I got a dog after 6 months, and that fucked everything. And I've been here for 18 years now. Been known as Ferret Boy by my mates back in the UK since I was 19. So what's that? 24 years or something. And came to New Zealand. Ferrets were illegal, still are illegal here because they're a massive invasive pest introduced to combat the rabbit population that were also introduced. No, 6.5, 7 years ago, a lady commented on Facebook that something was killing her chickens and could someone come and catch it. And I was at a loose end. I just got back from working in Papua New Guinea, and my partner was about to give birth to our daughter, so I didn't have a job. And I was like, yeah, I'll go catch it. And caught this ferret, and then sort of reignited a fire in me, and did a bit of Facebook stalking, got chatting to this guy who was ferreting down south, and so became friends with him. And and then it just said, got some more ferrets. And then I was like, bollocks to this, I'm an adult. I'm going to do what I always wanted to do. And I ordered trackers and nets from the UK and just started basically knocking on people's doors going, excuse me, I see you've got some rabbits in your paddocks. Can I come and get rid of them? And, doing it for free. And then it just got more and more. And I charged like $50 for half a day or $80 for a full day, just because it was just a hobby for me. I had an obsession, and I still worked full time on night shift, and I just got more and more. And then dealt with a government department because somebody had reported one of my photos on Facebook of one of our ferrets, Gary Glitter, was with his face covered in blood, and didn't try to report me for animal cruelty. An MPI contacted me, the Ministry for Primary Industries, who control and regulate all the shit to do with banned organisms, which ferrets are. And they said, listen, we love what you do. Like their exact words were, we love what you do, but please stop posting videos of your animals killing other animals on social media, and using ferrets on rats is a stroke of genius. I said, well, I didn't think of it. I'm just the only one in New Zealand doing ratting. And so I tried to do, I went down the legal route and managed to, after a lot of emailing and showing proof of how I transport, where they live, etc., I got a permit to transport banned organisms. So we still can't buy, sell, or breed. All our ferrets are caught in the wild and tamed, and then we get them fixed. With varying degrees of success, we probably still shoot about 70 ferrets a year, just because I don't need them. I mean, we had one, I had him for 18 months and he still wouldn't come out of the sleeping box. In the end, you just have to, it's just an extra mouth to feed.
Yeah.
It's like any animal. Some are great, and they all have their personalities. They're wild animals, so some will tame up nicely and others just, So, that's about that, mate. And now it's a full-time job. We moved down to central Otago, where rabbits are in paid proportions down here. And we moved down here just over a year ago because more and more of our work was down here. And if you told me 18 months ago that we'd be employing people and have a 6-week backlog, I'd have laughed at you.
Yeah.
But, it's still an unhealthy obsession for me, mate. And, it's all I think about.
I think anybody.
I hope I'm not going to be like Brendan. Much as I love the episode with Brendan, I hope you're not just going to put a pound in me and let me go.
That was amazing. That episode, because we'd had a bit of, like tonight, had some issues on timings and days and everything else, and I totally forgot about you're a day ahead of us. And then he literally, at the beginning of the episode, went to get a chair and just fucked off. And he's like, yeah, I wasn't sure if I was just going back. I was just going to wind you up and just leave you there. I was just like, the guy was just mental. But no, you're good, mate. You're all good. If you're talking, I haven't got to, and your voice is better than mine. So anyone who knows me knows that I love to work in dogs. That was always my big passion. To the point, actually, when someone realised what I was doing with the podcast, went, Dan, are you really promoting what you're doing now? He said, because that's not the Dan I know, like 6 or 7 years ago. I'm like, yeah, we won't talk about that, and because I was a heathen. But ferrets has always been the one thing that I've loved. It's one of the things that me and Dad used to go and do when I was a kid, and to go out and it was just great. And my love went from that, and it just spiraled out of control to where I am now. So I can feel your pain with that one. When you were talking about catching the ferrets, it reminded me of a story of a young lad I know. He had a Jill get out of his hutch, and it fucked off for a few days, and it came back in kit, and like a wild polecat obviously got hold of it. And I don't know about any of the other kits that it had, but the one that he kept, it was the size of a land shark and just couldn't be tamed. It was just wild.
We've had some. We had one, and I shit you not, it was 2.5 kg. It couldn't fit in a 4-inch pipe when I got it. It was a donkey, and I thought, I mean, this will be all right. But we haven't got any badger sets over here, so it's not really any good for rabbiting. I kept it for a bit, and then I caught a couple of the girls that had come into season, and he was actually really chill. Despite first appearances, the first time we got him, he was literally ripping the mesh apart in the cage. And my missus is there with a staple gun, stapling more mesh on, and he was just there. That's it. He didn't give a shit. Whereas the only time we've ever caught two together, like literally together in a chicken run, we think it may have been his sister, and she just never she was very shy, and she never sort of separated from her brother. And because normally they're pretty solitary, and it was an absolute donkey. And then one day I went and handled these. I was just trying to tame these two girls and spend a bit of time with them, and obviously they'd come into season, which wasn't ideal. And I went to handle him, and he just went as hard as he could and far as he could into the web of my thumb, and just kept going. And he was so big, I couldn't get my hands around him. And I'm cack-handed, so cack-handed. I didn't have a bucket of water near me or anything like that. I'm trying to punch him in the back of the head, but I look like I'm having some kind of fit. And eventually I got him off, but he was just too volatile, and I shot him a couple of days later. But because our ferrets here were all crossed when they introduced them in the late 1800s anyway. I can't remember the exact year. They crossed them with the European polecat when they were on the ships on the way over, in the hope that it would make them slightly more hardy for the New Zealand winters. And of course, it didn't just make them hardy; they absolutely thrived. So ours are all European ferret cross polecat. So the fact that it came back in kit, that's a bit bad timing for him. Well, is it fortunate? I mean, we're here normally catching youngsters January, February, if we can, March. And also, of course, that's when people catch more as well. And because people know of us on social media and things, people contact us. I've had women send their husband on a 2-hour drive each way, a 4-hour fucking round trip, just to drop off a ferret to me. And I'm like, oh, yes, this ferret will be great. And you can tell by the teeth it's some old haggard Jill that's never going to tame down. And yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'll keep you updated. And you're like, oh yeah, it looks like one of ours anyway, so I'll just send photos of one of ours. But recently we've been very fortunate. Last year we trapped a pregnant Jill, so that saved us a lot of hassle. And then 2 weeks ago yesterday, we were on an interesting job, just rabbits in the middle of Mackenzie country, no trees around, nothing. I've got a hedgehog out of one warren, and then we've got an adult possum out of another. So that was fun, and trying to deal with that. And but that's what you have dogs for. And then the ferrets started chattering away in a warren. You're like, oh, only heard sort of chattering like that when they found a ferret. So I started digging. Luckily they were pretty shallow. It took a lot of digging because I'm then tracking mine over here. But I'm like, hold on, I can feel a ferret's ass down this hole. So I could dig and then dig more here because I didn't want to just grab its back end, pull it out for it to swing around and latch onto me. And eventually got her out, and heavily she killed all the rabbit young in a nest because we found them, and she's heavily pregnant. So,
wow.
yeah. So. But yeah, it's one of those things. But anyway, sorry, I digressed from your story about your mate and the polecat.
You're fine. No, it's fine. That's it makes my life easy. So you said earlier on we are talking about, and I know we have spoke about it because I found it amazing about ferreting rats. Now I've never had any success with it when I've seen it done at home. I'm not saying other people don't, but I've not had any success. I certainly won't have any more success because I haven't got ferrets anymore. But you spoke about long netting them and all sorts. So run us through that.
Well, I mean, that just came from the fact that I love watching like the rat packs and everything in the UK, Yorkshire Rat Pack, whatever. But it always, even Joseph Carter, the Mink Man, on YouTube. But it was shit me. They'd lift up like a pig, and of course I'm doing it for a job, and so I can't just be like, oh well, yeah, 12 got away from there or whatever, And I just thought, what? You're watching all these rats fuck off into the distance. I don't have a pack of terriers. I don't do enough ratting to just, since moving to Central Otago, I haven't done any ratting. It's just rabbits here. That's all we do. But I just thought, I don't want to be watching rats fucking off. It's embarrassing. And then I have this childish grunt because I'm like, fuck. And so I thought, well, you can't obviously rabbit nets aren't going to do anything. So thankfully my partner, who is the brains of the operation, and she's Kiwi, so she has Kiwi ingenuity, which is second to none. She was like, well, let's just fucking make long nets. And so it's simple. It doesn't like tangle the rats like a normal long net would. It's literally just bird netting that we fix onto fiberglass poles in the same way as a rabbit long net. And then I've just used one of my old Les Nelson or Nelson's Net Loft net baskets and just chuck it in there, and it just means that you can go around a shipping container, or a lot of our ratting is around like farmers' dog kennels or pig hunters' dog kennels and stuff like that. I mean, we were even at a wildlife park recently where they, working around lions and tigers and shit like that. We had monkeys fucking taunting the dogs from their island and stuff. But some of the rats around where they prepare all the meat for the lions and stuff were fucking nose to arse would have been nearly 30 centimeters. They're huge. Yeah. But the dog, unlike the rabbits, like rabbits don't fight back with the dogs, and the dogs will hold them or they'll crush them. They just crush the internals and then bang, we're on to the next. But with the rats and the possums, they fight back in a major way, and the dogs get such a kick out of it, and I get such a kick out of it watching them do the old death shake, bang, fucking on to the next one. So that's where the long nets for the rats came up.
Yeah, I was amazed by that, and I've been thinking about it ever since. Well, maybe it could be made better. I know I've had a few ideas, but I don't think anything would work. But I'll keep you posted on that one. I've got. So you start sort of walking around the hardware shops, you think that could work. That might work. Yeah. But yeah, no, proper cool.
But the downside of the bird netting, if I'm honest, is that obviously it's so light, it doesn't sag. It's sort of plastic. It doesn't sag like the conventional rabbit net. So we've had to put fishing weights along the bottom, just to hold it down on the ground. If I could find someone, to be honest, I haven't really done any research, but if I could find someone that made rabbit netting, but of a much smaller grade, bloody 15 mil holes, that'd be great. But it's just to hold them in there gives you that vital couple of seconds because the rats have just panicked and they're trying to jump and jump. They tend not to climb it; they just jump and jump at it. And then because either you're stamping on it with one foot and then trying to do river dance as it's trying to fucking bite your boot and everything else, or the dog's coming to get it. But it's it works. It's not pretty, but it works. And for I'm a bit. I don't know about perfectionist. I always want to remove every animal pest I can from the property. It's never going to happen. I mean, we do have smaller properties that we do completely eradicate. Like, not, I think, and you'll ring them a couple of weeks later and be like, do you want me to come and do a tidy up shoot? And they're like, "Oh, we haven't seen a rabbit since you've been here."
Yeah.
You know, and but that's great. It's not a great business plan going forward. If
No,
I
no,
every
fairly
rabbit,
poor business plan, isn't it?
but, yeah, but yeah, so it's
You just
so,
start
yeah,
catching
I look
rabbits
at
elsewhere and releasing them.
I've threatened clients who haven't who haven't paid. You know, you've got people who just make excuses of don't reply for 6 or 8 months, and you're thinking, yeah, I'll just go around to their properties at midnight and start dumping loads of rabbits. But then the issue is, I wouldn't go back. Yeah, well, I wouldn't go back to their property anyway. I'd just be like, yeah, no. So but no, I mean that's But then the other side of that is if they've got rabbits on their property again, or they've got rabbits, it doesn't look like I've done a very good job.
Yeah, it's one of them where you want to be good at it, but you also want to be shit at it at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we get people going, it's a job that will never end. And around here it is, but we still try and, we also do the preventative side of things. Like we do rabbit fencing. You know, I used to be a fencer in the mountains, and, back when, like you, I was a bit of a heathen and a fuckwit. And not that you were a fuckwit, but
I'm more fuckwit than a heathen, really.
Yeah. But, I lost my license for drink driving because, I thought, well, I'll do heavy haulage and I'll drive big specialist roading machinery. You know what I'll do? I'll hemorrhage my career in my mid-30s and I'll lose my driver's license. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
And I ended up fencing up in the mountains for 3 months, living in a hut. But I hate fencing. I'm not a fencer's arsehole. But when it comes to rabbit proofing, it's basically, I'm just clipping on mesh, but we do it so that we know it's going to prevent rabbits coming in as much as we can. So once again, leaves a better result, and everything's about reputation, and you're only as good as your last job.
No, exactly that.
And word of mouth is the most horrible fucking thing.
Do you put anything like drop boxes in the rabbit fencing at all? Anything like that?
Can you imagine that? I thought about drop boxes several years ago. I was like, only I had a brain and some creativity, I'd make drop boxes, because in the UK they're so successful. And then a few years back, I heard there's a guy, probably 45 minutes down the road from here, who actually makes them. And he's got an engineering business. He makes them, and he doesn't sell them. He leases them to clients,
right?
And they put them in. And a mate of mine who has his own pest control business a few hours north, he was contracting to him every 3 weeks, go around, pull the pin, and leave it for overnight, and then come back. And some of them, incredibly successful.
Yeah.
He'd been messaging me, "Hey mate, do you want some ferrets?" And there'd be 25, 30 rabbits in the bottom of this drop box, and 4 very fat, contented young ferrets next to some rabbit carcasses. But so I haven't done anything to do with drop boxes. I don't want to step on his toes. That's his thing, and and to be honest, I'm too fucking busy just with what we're doing, mate. And I'd love to do the sort of all round every aspect, but for a start, I don't want anything to do with poison, so it's not my cup of tea. And we work with a couple of guys who are very good, have incredible results with poison and mag toxin, the gas. And shooting, and so they started getting us in on a couple of projects, bigger projects, to sort of just clean up those last couple that seem to evade them. And that's gone really well. Like we're only on site for 10 minutes, and the dogs have found both rabbits that were spotted with the thermals and stuff. So that's been good. But just each to their own. Everybody needs to make a living, and there's more than one way to skin a cat.
It's all got to be done. You can't just use one way. I was saying to you before that we used to stink out the rabbit warrens, then come back a day or so later and we'd rough them up and lump them with the shotguns and the terriers and lurchers, which was good fun, very good fun. Hard work to start with. I mean, I never done much of it because I was quite young at the time, but Dad would be out for sort of days stinking out with creosote and gas and whatever else to get the rabbits on top, and then a day of fun.
Absolutely. We well, when you say about like gassing out or smoking out, but that obviously quite some of the ratting jobs we go to, or we've done, obviously we can't fit, but the rat holes are just too small, and so that's the only time And it's not even, well, I suppose I am gaffing them out. It's carbon monoxide. Obviously, you see the guys with leaf blowers and stuff, smoke, which is fucking good. But I didn't use a leaf blower. I literally got a chainsaw, removed the bar, had a mate weld up a pipe off the exhaust, and then I just have like 6-foot garden hose and crank up the 2-stroke oil in the mix. And just, if they don't come flying out, give it sort of 10 minutes and they'll come out looking pretty stoned and a bit ropey. And you can either just grab them, or the dogs will grab them, or they just die in there. And you know, it's not nice.
Have you found, so the mix, I'll talk about the mix because I've done quite a bit of smoking over the years, the rats and bits and pieces. So have you found that the stronger the mix, the better they bolt, or the less of the mix, the better they bolt, or something?
Just, I haven't played with the ratio. I just sort of doubled the 2-stroke mix. Yeah, I just, it says, 25 to 1 or whatever, or 32 to 1, I think, in that cheap Chinese thing. And I just doubled it. I chucked in like 200 mil instead of 100 mil kind of thing. And it just more smoky. And I figured it would be, the more smoke there is, the more obnoxious, more noxious it is, and I thought it would hurt their eyes, hurt the lungs, etc. And so they'd be more likely to bolt. But if that's not the case, then potentially it's more carbon monoxide, and therefore it's a quicker death for them. Yeah. Because that's another reason I don't like poison. It's just a horrific death. Yeah. It could be with Pindo that they use here. It'd take a week, kill them, to kill a rabbit. And this is what you try and explain to people. I went to a job the other day. She literally just put Pindone out 2 days before, having spoken to me. And I came out to have a look at the job. She was like, "Oh yeah, I've got the Pindone back out." Like, brilliant. I mean, we now can't come to you if you take this away now, we can't come to you for a couple of weeks at minimum. And she said, "Oh, why is that?" I said, "Well, you could. It's not the dogs I'm worried about. They're not going to eat the rabbits. It's the ferrets, and we always keep the ferrets fed so that we're not having them feeding underground, etc." Yeah. I know there's a lot of old wives' tales. I get a lot of abuse on my YouTube channel. One of them recently was, never feed a ferret before it works. It won't fucking, it won't have any drive. I would, mate, you sound like the same twat that would feed it bread and milk. It's if you keep them, fuck me. Or one guy was like, "I never work ferrets when there's baby rabbits around." I thought, "Oh wait, I'll just work for 1 month a year then, shall I?" It's just something that,
And it's getting more and more like that. I mean, opinions like arseholes, everyone's got them. But if you was worried about baby rabbits now in this climate, you would only ferret around Christmas, and that'd be about your limit. And even then, you'd probably, if you looked hard enough, be able to find baby rabbits. So them sort of things now have not died a death as such, but it's a lot more open to do what you need to do. The only problem is with fucking about with youngsters, as you'll know, is you end up fucking about with youngsters. That is the only problem, isn't it?
We get nest tunnels here, more so up in Canterbury where we were, and literally, and the doe will literally just have a wee tunnel down to the nest. It could be 2 foot. Sometimes you can just reach in and there's the nest. Other times it could be 10 meters. But you get it, and the doe will come along and she'll fill the mouth. She'll fuck off for the day, but she'll fill the mouth of it with dirt, down so it looks like bare dirt. It's the only time I let my dogs dig. If they start digging at a bit of bare ground, bang, you can start to bang, nest tunnel. And if you time it right, you get them when they're runners, as we call them. They're about sort of 5 inches long.
Yeah.
Ferret goes down as killing the first one, the rest come flying out. There's like another 7 of them come flying out, and it's like whack-a-mole.
Yeah,
dogs are everywhere. You're everywhere. But if they're underground, it's like, I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's what I enjoy watching my dogs do this and watching my ferrets do this. This is why I do it. It's not about killing animals. It's about providing a service. I don't know. You get a lot of shit, I'm sure, on social media. I get so much shit because for some reason my main audience was India and Pakistan. Don't ask me why. And now it seems to be a lot of like South America. And so of course I'm scum of the earth, and people can't want to watch my dogs and my children apart, all sorts of shit. But they don't understand what's going on in a country on the other side of the world and why we're doing it, etc. But it's not about the killing as such. But I'd like to think my dogs have a fucking great life. I don't even own a kennel. My dogs all live in the house with us, which may sound fucking mental to some people. And if I think about it, it really is fucking mental. Nobody needs 9 dogs in a house. But
and 6 pups.
Oh, and I think, well, I've got another one about to leave shortly, thankfully. Guy's flying down from Auckland. What's that? 1,500 k's away. So he's probably just landing about now. But yeah, but no, these guys are my best mates, my 4-legged friends. They're my best mates, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't shut them outside. They bust their ass for me all day, and well, they do it because they love it. It's nothing to do with me. I'm just the idiot stood behind them, But they come at home and curl up in front of the fire with a full belly, and yeah. Anyway, I apologise. I can't remember why I went off on that tangent.
Fine, nor can I. So it's all right. We're both in the same book together.
You're the raven.
Rabbits. I tell you what we were talking about young rabbits. So I think I might have mentioned this to you before when we were chatting on Instagram. I remember Dad walking across a field, and I've never done this, and I've never seen it done again. But obviously, your dogs have done it. But Dad's walked across the field and stopped and gone, Next minute, got the spade out and just dug a rabbit's nest out, and you're just like, how the fucking hell did you know that was there? And I'm a little bit gutted that I've never been able to do that one. That was
your dog. The dogs, their sense of smell is fucking 10,000 times what we have. And I do have those days when you get to a job, especially if you've got a client there and they're like, oh, I've got 50 rabbits. And you've caught 8. And you're like, fuck me, dogs, come on, what are we doing? Come on, boys, And it's not all open pack, far from it. It's usually around people's houses, gardens, shipping containers,
They're very nice spot.
Piles. Yeah, it's so much cover, and you've then got to climb through all the bushes and shit on your stomach to try and find the hole that the dogs are marking in the middle of the fucking scrub. But sometimes you're there just going, oh, come on, boys, what the fuck are we doing? Stop fucking around. And then you turn to the client, you go, sorry, what's the most amount of rabbits you've seen at one time? They go, 5. I'm like, we haven't got a fucking 50. So, and you leave feeling like a cowboy. And then you ring them 2 weeks later and say, I'd want to come for a shoot. They go, we haven't seen a rabbit since you were here. It's like, fuck me. And then you're there like kicking yourself going, sorry, guys, I should have trusted you more than fucking, I trust them. If they're still hanging around a hole, a ferret's come out and it's fucking around, the ferret is done in that hole. But if the dogs are still marking, I know nowadays that, right, now's the time to send in the big boy, because we've obviously got a hold up, and then I'll start tracking him and see where he's got to, and then I'll start digging out the hold up stuff. Yeah, it's all about trusting the dog's instincts, and their sense of smell is far better than ours, and they're far more obsessed and determined with shit.
It's hard to find trust in yourself when you're trying to do something for money. You're like, you trust someone you can't talk to or listen to, and all you've got to do is watch it. And it's like, right, okay. And I've done it. Like when I've been ferreting, like, this is a fucking massive place. There's got to be more than these 2 rabbits in here. That ferret's lying. Put another one in, and that goes in and comes out with nothing. Like, oh, fuck it then. Come on, let's go somewhere else. And you leave there thinking, well, I've left rabbits there, and you never know if you do. But yeah, and I
fill the holes in.
We
always fill the holes in, and then that way if something dug out or dug in, and but it also means that if the dogs flush a rabbit from somewhere else and don't manage to catch it for whatever reason, it's gone through a couple of fences, it then tries to hit that hole, and it just fucking hits dirt. Gives the dog that vital second, because if you lose a rabbit down a warren you've already worked, you try and put a ferret in there, and the ferret will laugh at you and be like, piss off, mate, we've already done this.
Yeah.
And so it's but having that trust in the animals, mate, is key.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So we've got literally 3 minutes left. I'm too cheap to pay for Zoom. So what's next? So you're obviously in the last 18 months you've grown so big that you don't know what to do with yourself.
Oh, I wouldn't say that, but I mean, like, yeah,
I
I mean,
definitely
say
would.
that.
After the whining message you sent me, I'll have to get the violin out more than once for you. So,
Yeah, no, the workload is there. Obviously, this ankle has just fucking set me back. But yeah, we have a couple of great guys that are working part time for us, and it's just trying to take that next step. Dealing with a couple of big contracts potentially coming in. I can't say too much at the moment. Just a case of nutting out all the finer details, and then yeah, we can justify hiring a couple of guys full time. But at the moment, it's just 6-7 days a week, just working.
when are you back to full? When are you back to full fitness after your Simon Cowell accident?
Well, they said it was 6 weeks non-weight bearing, but I don't know. It's been a week and a bit now. I'm back in on Thursday for more X-rays, but I'm not on any painkillers or anything else like that. So I'm hoping it's the bottom of my tibia that's broken. So I'm hoping it's a bit quicker than they say. It's always been quicker in the past with my injuries, but I'm older now, like 10 years older, and so I tend to break instead of bounce. So yeah, we'll see. But got the old peg leg, mate. So yeah. I tell you what, it's no good on hills when you're trying to fucking carry rabbits.
No. You need little dolly trolleys behind you just to cart everything about. Then again, with your luck, you'd get run over by the trolley, wouldn't
you? Yeah. That'd be an interesting conversation at the hospital.
Right, mate. I'm gonna say thank you very much for coming on the show. It's been an absolute.
No, thank you, mate. I feel like we haven't covered much because I've just waffled. But
you're fine because I have a grand plan.
Okay.
I have a grand plan which I'll tell you about later on. Once I've gone back to bed and got my head down after today's faux pas. Remember, fleecy dungarees.
Oh, I was right. That is sex appeal right there. Fleece dungarees.
They were bought for my wife. She didn't like them. I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm wearing them. If Sam Smith can wear a dress, I can fucking wear these. So that's the way it is. Mate, thank you very much. You're an absolute star.
You've been listening to the Outdoor Man Podcast. We're glad you're here. We'd love to connect with you on social media. Find us on Twitter at Podcast Outdoor, on Instagram, Outdoor_Man_podcast, on Facebook, Outdoor Man Podcast, and you can even reach us by email, dan@outdoorman.uk. Let us know your outdoor questions, and be sure to tag us when you're outside living your best life. Until next time, be the example.